For raiment, for life and opportunity, for friendship and fellowship. We thank thee, O Lord. Amen.
Alright, let's go this way. So going that way.
So start here?
Yeah, grab your bowl off, hand you a tortilla, and then get your other stuff.
So, my name is Joshua Peterson, and my job on my trip to Philmont was I was the troop leader, basically, for my expedition, I guess you could call it.
So my name is Jacob Reed, and I went to Philmont as just a regular crew member.
Kind of going in, I was a little bit hesitant, scared a little bit. I wanted to make sure that I did my best and that I helped my troop get where they needed to go and have fun at the same time.
Biggest achievement was not dying, because there's, a pretty good chance out there if you make a bad mistake.
All these people that you're close to, and after even 2 or 3 days, it can get a little frustrating.
Some of these people I didn't know very well when I went out there, 11 of us, and some of them I didn't like too much.
So when we got to the camp, myself and Mark Groslin checked us in, and we were assigned a crew number, and we would then go get some gear with our crew number, kind of as our ID. And also with that crew number came a guide, and our guide was Nina Tucker.
She's a West Point graduate now. At the time, she was going to West Point.
But I think one of the most memorable things that she did for us was during the trip, there was a point when Nate was turning, had his birthday. I believe he was 17 then.
And she brought like a pound cake and a thing of frosting, and we had cake the night before she left, and it was Nate's birthday, and we all sang happy birthday to him and everything.
She had her pack filled with the food that she was carrying for us. So more weight that she had to carry for us, which was super amazing, and that just made us love her even more. So.
As their guide departed, the crew woke the next morning with heavy hearts, for a bond with this person had formed in the immense stress of this awe-inspiring country. With the inspiration of this incredible guide, they trod on. But as they reached the ridges and peaks of God's country, they beheld the dark clouds of the future.
So the most grueling stretch of the journey was probably the climb up to elevation for the Tooth of Time.
The Tooth of Time, as it was called, you can see that from the base camp, which we were kind of anticipating for a while. But to get to the top, the route we took was kind of difficult in a way. To actually get up to the base of the start of the climb, there was these steps, and it went on forever, it seemed like, and they were super tall. And so you'd walk maybe like 3 or 4 feet, and then you'd go up, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 feet again. It's
basically bouldering up for like 300 feet of elevation, and that was pretty terrible. But we're able to do it, and we got through it as a crew, helping each other up, and that brought us all quite a bit closer together.
Our third day out on hiking, it rained, and we were like, oh, it's raining, so we got out our rain equipment gear, and it rained for about maybe 2 hours, and then it stopped. And so we're like, oh, that's end of that.
Every single day.
But every single day after that, it rained.
At about 1:30 to 2:30, we would see clouds. We knew in 10-15 minutes, it's gonna start pouring.
We'd know when it was happening because we could have the elevation that we needed to see these clouds coming in on us, and we're just like, well, it's gonna be here in 10-15 minutes, better get our rain gear on.
Sometimes it was a blessing because you were hot. Sometimes it wasn't that fun because your feet got wet and you were wet and you were cold. That was the day marching into base camp for Baldy was Miranda, and that was probably the worst rain.
Rain was a challenge, but wet hearts, minds, and feet were spurred on by others. Although some were not close, the pull of the land stitched all members of the crew closer as the largest challenge yet surfaced. Baldy Mountain. 12,441 feet tall, the top of the mountain is made of loose shale due to the millions of years of weathering. The tallest point in Philmont, it is the pinnacle of any cruise trek.
It's totally rock on top of this limestone shale. It's two steps up, and you slide back one.
And it's just an absolutely grueling experience, going up to the top of a mountain. I mean, that was our longest day at 13 miles, I believe. And once I got to the top, I just totally collapsed. I didn't look around for the first solid 20 seconds, but after being up there for a while,
I got to call my dad from the top of Baldy, because that's the only place in Philmont that has cell service, and I cried a lot that day. Just tears of joy.
And even before the clouds showed up, we were able to see miles and miles and miles. Eventually, there was some clouds that kind of came in and covered our view, but the whole time we were able to see, probably about a mile and a half away, a patch of snow. And it looked small, and we were like, hey, that's kind of funny. There's still snow because it's in July. As we descend the mountain, we don't go the same way that we came. We're making a loop. We went up one side and heading down the other. And on our way down, we kind of got lost.
But we walked down that ridge and over to it, which actually isn't in the Philmont property, but don't tell anyone.
But it sent us right towards this snow patch, which was probably the the best that we could have had, the best deal that we could have had. Because, I mean, what else are you going to do with snow patch? You go make snowballs.
We had a snowball fight. We climbed down to it and got snowballs and ambushed the adults who were behind us and just messed with each other, and that was a really fun thing that really showed that we were in a serious place in a serious situation, but we were still friends, just having fun. So one of our last camps that we got to was called Poblano, and it was an old logging camp. So they had a bunch of different logging activities. The staffers were dressed how loggers would have been. They kind of had a different accent, as they were told to. They had spar pole climbing, two-handed axe, that kind of thing. We actually did spar pole climbing. That was really cool. But one of the things that really showed that everyone was kind of a brother on this trail, everyone was together and everyone was friends, was that as we were going into Poblano, it started to rain. And that meant everyone in the camp had to stop what they were doing, activity, spar pole, axe, that kind of thing, and kind of hunker down, because you can't do any of that stuff in the rain. So, every single person, it was about 40 or 45 people, were huddled under the staff camp porch, of their building. And the staff, knowing not what to do, they can't do any of the activities, they brought out instruments. Mouth harmonica, guitar, banjo. There was a mandolin, I think. And they just pulled out this old songbook and flipped to a random page and just started playing. And it was amazing. They were really good. But everyone was there and just smiling and, clapping along with it and singing the stuff we knew, because we were all together. We weren't from different parts of the country. We weren't different crews. We were all together. doing it together. And everyone was friends. At the end of this, I got what it really meant to do this. It was pretty amazing. And just being able to be part of that with all these other guys and to actually make it and not accidentally die doing something, it was pretty amazing. So, friendship and fellowship, because you were friends after that. There was no doubt you were best friends.
We had the opportunity as Boy Scouts and as just citizens of the U.S. to experience, and I thought that was really great that I had that opportunity.